I was just thinking a few days ago about, some of the funny experiences you have as a result of speaking and understanding Thai over here. So I thought, it's not a bad idea for a little video or two to tell some of them stories. And I thought, just for a bit of variety, I'll ask a couple of my friends who've also made a decent effort to speak Thai, and also they're quite well-known characters in the foreign community over here. We're going to start off with somebody I don't think will be a stranger to many of you, Phil, Mr. Egg of Pub Pattaya and Pub Pattaya YouTube channel. He sent me a contribution of some of his funny experiences speaking Thai, and I'm going to put that in at the end of this video as well. Also, I've asked Adam, probably better known as AJ, who now works for the Pattaya News, and before that for quite a few years was the manager of Sexy in the City in Soy 6. So he sent me a contribution as well, and I think I'll probably put that in part 2. Something that happens here quite often, if you're in a place where they're not used to seeing foreigners, is you'll go into a shop and there'll be a shop assistant there, and a look of horror comes over their face because they can't speak any English. So quite a few will go into these shops and there's just this look of horror and they'll run off. Now, I've had it happen to me so many times where they'll just run off and they're looking for somebody who can speak some English. So they might come back 5 minutes later with somebody who's got a few words of English, and of course they come over to you and and you just ask for what you want in Thai. They just give you this look, but you sort of, I don't know why, for some reason they never think to ask you if you can speak Thai. Now, a long time ago, I'm going back to 1991, I used to work as a tour guide in Karls National Park, and at the weekends I'd sometimes go up to the national park. Even though we didn't have a tour, I just used to enjoy going there. And when I did that, it wasn't worth taking the truck, so I just used to get a local type of bus called a songtail, which means like 2 rows, and they were nice and cheap, and I just used to catch one of them. And as the name dictates, song rows, these 2 rows in the back face each other. And I was on the way up there with some of the locals one day, and there were 2 old ladies sitting next to me, and I could hear them talking amongst themselves. Now, I'd bought some food to take with me. I'd bought some kayang, some grilled chicken with some sticky rice. So I had it in a clear plastic bag, and they could see it, and I could hear them talking to each other. And one of these old ladies said, "You see that Farang, that foreign over there? He can speak Thai with a central dialect." And a friend kind of paused and looked amazed, and then looked at my bag and said, "He can eat chicken too." And the first one said, "He must have lived here a long time." They really thought it was more amazing that I could eat chicken than the fact that I could speak Thai. I was on a songtail going up to Karls National Park once, and this time sitting opposite me was an old man. And as we went into the entrance of the park, as you go into the entrance of Karls National Park, on the right, on the hillside, there's a Buddhist shrine. Now, if you spend any amount of time in Thailand, you'll know that when drivers go past one of these Buddhist shrines, they always toot the hooter for good luck. And we'd gone past it, and the driver tooted his hoot as we went past, and all the Thai people wide, they did that 2-handed movement, they wide to Buddha. Now, this old man sitting next to me gave me a kind of strange, I didn't wide, he gave me a strange look, like he wanted to say something but thought better of it. And then he spoke to me and he said in Thai, "Don't you why Buddha?" And I was feeling patient, so I kind of explained to him that in different countries in the world, they have different religions. Because in those days, You know, I'm going back 30 years now. Old people in those days, you know, a lot of them didn't even receive an education at school. You know, they would have been educated at the temple. So, you know, there was a good chance he wouldn't have known much about Christianity or anything at all. So I told him that, you know, that in Thailand and lots of East Asian countries, they have Buddhism, but where I come from, it's usually Christianity. So I kind of explained that to him and said I was from England, and he listened patiently. And I kind of thought, oh well, you know, I've got somewhere there. You know, I've taught him something, and so he kind of looked like he'd accepted my explanation. And then all of a sudden, this strange look of disgust came over his face, and he just like put his arms on his chest, and he said, "So I was right. You don't why Buddha."
Hi Karl, it's me, Mr.Egg. Hello. Thanks for asking me to come on your channel. I'm just waiting for a bus at the moment to go to Bangkok. I haven't been away from Pattaya for about a year, so that should be nice. I've just found a little quiet place, if there is such a thing. You've asked me to talk about my experiences with the Thai language and some funny things that may or may not have happened. And first of all, I want to point out to you and all your followers and your viewers that my Thai language skills are very, very limited, especially speaking. I think I can read and write okay, although I am a little bit slow sometimes, but speaking wise not so good. I was thinking about the first time that I learned to read and write, Karl, and what happened was, I was around the turn of the century. I was quite into spiritualism, and I was into Buddhism, and I was taking a lot of time out at the Thai temple in Birmingham, which actually had recently moved at this point to a place called King's Bromley. Your viewers may know it. It's over there near Lichfield. And I was helping out the monks there, and one of the monks said, "Kun Philip, your Thai is very bad. You get everything wrong. You need to learn to read and write." And I says, "Oh, read and write." I says, "It's terrible. It's impossible. It's all squiggles. It's like alphabet spaghetti." And he turned around to me and he says, "Well, how would you feel if because he could speak English, if I could speak English, but you gave me something to read and I couldn't read it. How would you feel about that?" And I says, "Well, I suppose you've got a point, really." So anyway, he says to me, here's the Thai alphabet, and he gave me an A4 piece of paper, and he said, "What I want you to do is to go away, and next week I want you to know every single letter, every single vowel, every single sound, tone mark, and I want you to know the name of the letter, the sound that it makes, and the nickname by next week, please." And I just went, "Oh, no." I mean, for those people that don't know, I don't know how many consonants and letters there are in the Thai alphabet, but there are an awful lot. And I'm not kidding you, Karl. I spent the whole of my life that week, every single waking hour, even at work, I was there, with this piece of A4 paper trying to learn the Thai alphabet. It took me forever. Anyway, I did manage to do it, and I was so proud. And to be honest, looking back at it, it's probably the best thing that the monk could ever do. So I went back, and the monk says, have you learnt the Thai alphabet, Kun Philip? And I says, yes, I've learnt the alphabet. And he says, "Well, that's good, because about 30% of all the letters are obsolete. We don't use them anymore." And I went, "Wow! I've spent my whole life learning these squiggly lines, and you're telling me that 30% of them you don't use?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "I don't know why they just don't release a modern alphabet, really." I thought, I don't know either. So there you go. But as I've said, the best week's work I think I ever did, I learned to read and write, because as I always say, Karl, to people that ask me about Thai language, if you can read and write, you're always engaged with the language, because you're looking at road signs and you're watching on the TV and you're looking at the commentary or graphics and things like that, and wondering what they say. So my tip to anybody would be to learn to read and write in it. And I'm from Birmingham and I'm really stupid, so if I can do it, you can do it. So I'm in Pattaya, and my very first job in Pattaya, about 2003, 2004, is at a place called Electric Blue. It's on Walking Street. And I've got this kind of odd job man who works in there during the day, and he does a bit of painting and stuff like that, and electrics and plumbing. And I do remember at one time we had one ceiling in one room that was black, and we had one ceiling that was white. And I bought a load of white fans and I bought a load of black fans. And I says, you've got to put the white fans, this was in Thai by the way, the white fans on the white ceiling and the black fans on the black ceiling. When I came back, well, I mean, I don't even have to tell you, do you? He put the black fans on the white ceiling and the white fans on the black ceiling. And then, to make it worse, I came back the next day and he was, rather than taking them down and doing it, he was painting the white ones black and the black ones white, which was, I thought was hilarious. But anyway, it had this odd job man. And I don't remember the conversation, but very, very early on in my job, I had to tell him to do something, and he didn't speak English, so I spoke to him in Thai. And I says, could you do this? And he went, krapom. And I went, oh, okay. And then I said to do something else, and he went, krapom. And I didn't know what krapom means. Now, apparently, it means like, yes, sir. It's sort of a very kind of polite way of saying, yes, I've received your order. I'm subordinate to you, and I'm gonna carry out what you've told me. But I misheard him, and I thought he said dat pom, which I think means cut hair. So I thought, but the conversation was going like, yeah, could you fix that wire? And he was going, oh, go cut your hair. Can you do that, please? Oh, just go cut it. And I was getting really, really annoyed. What is he telling me all the time to cut my hair? Until I realised that he wasn't saying dat pom, he was saying crap pom. Anyway, not a very funny story, but there's not an awful lot. I mean, I do remember when I was in London, I was at a hotel in London, and I got into the elevator or the lift in England, and must have been where all the Thai Airways staff stayed, because all these beautiful Thai Airways girls came in their purple uniforms into this lift, and they were all chatting amongst each other, and they asked me what floor on the lift I wanted, and I said like Chan Bear Cup, like the 8th floor, and they sort of went, pressed the number 8 button, and then it was just a look on their face. The girl who pressed the button, she went, oh, he just spoke Thai to me. It was great. Those moments are absolutely priceless. Karl, sorry I haven't got much more than that, mate. Keep up the good work on the channel. I think you're doing a great job. I'm sorry this is not very short. You told me to keep it short, but you know me, once I start talking, I can't stop. Thank you, Karl. Take care, mate, and ขอให้โชคดีครับ
Now, quite often when people find out that you can speak Thai, they always say the same thing. They say, oh, Karl, I wish I knew what they were talking about, They seem to think that people are always kind of talking behind their back. And truth is, like 9 times out of 10, more than that, they're just talking about their shopping or what they're going for dinner or just family stuff. But once in a while, you do catch them out. Now, I always remember one occasion, I was on a long bus journey, and they broke this bus journey up by stopping in a city in Thailand called Karls. And I went to get a drink at this shop, and I was queuing. There was a little queue to get to be served, and as I'm approaching my turn in the queue, there were a lot less foreigners around in them days, so you tended to stick out a bit more. I heard one of the assistants say to the other guy in the shop, say, "Do kwai ma lao, look, the buffalo." You see, I was quite big then. The buffalo's come already, so I didn't say anything. I didn't show any anger. And then I waited till it was my turn, and when it was my turn, I said, "Kwaiตัวนี้เอาเป๊ปซี่1 ขวดครับเอาเย็นๆนะ," which was like, "Oh, this buffalo wants a Pepsi, please make it cold."